Fit fam, what's going down? I hope you're ready to break a sweat because today we're going to be destroying those triceps. So smash that like button, grab your dumbbells, and be sure to leave a comment letting me know. This is how you know quarantine has been getting to me, and I know things aren't really getting any better, especially not in my city. It seems like every time I post a video with some strategies and suggestions on how to sell beats online, I almost instantly get comments and emails and DMs and tweets asking me when I'm going to make a video about how to sell more beats online. And I used to think, damn, people just aren't listening. But I think what it might be is that maybe the suggestions I've made in the past just haven't worked for people. And I think that's completely valid. Also, I do think people aren't listening. But today I want to give you even more strategies. And these aren't even my strategies. These are strategies from producers whose brands and subsequently sales have just gone crazy over the last 2 years. Let's be honest, you're not gonna find these videos anywhere else. Why? Because I make them. So it would really help me out if you subscribe. If you've already subscribed, what also really helps is if you like the video and leave a comment. It's hard in the era of clickbait videos on YouTube and negativity in the producer community, and I appreciate your support. Thank you so much. In this conversation with Wishmaster Beats and Tattoo Beats, I asked very direct questions about exactly what their habits are, exactly which integrations they're using, which platforms they're uploading beats to and why, and what are their social media strategies for free traffic, not paying for Facebook ads necessarily, not paying for Google ads, but how are they using social media in such a way that they're generating free traffic to their beat stores. And what I love about this conversation is that both of these producers oftentimes answer the same question very differently. They use really different strategies. So if you've ever watched a video about selling beats online and you think, I don't think that's going to work for me, I don't want to try that just yet, I'm not ready to try that, maybe you'll find this conversation helpful. It's very specific. It's not vague about, how many beats you should upload a day. It's very honed in onto exactly what these producers are doing for their own successes, for their own branding, for their own marketing, for their own customer retention, for their own conversions. Let me just stop talking. Let's get into the conversation. Hope you enjoy. Make some dope beats. Don't forget to exercise though, seriously. Or get a standing desk, maybe drink water. I mean, the F in FL Studio doesn't stand for fitness. This one is very straightforward. It's about selling beats, how to sell more. I'm joined by two top selling producers. Wishmaster is a pretty well-established producer, Grammy nominated. He's produced records that I guarantee many of you have heard. Tattoo Beats has a different story, and I saw him go from 10,000 YouTube subscribers to where he is now as someone who's exceeded 100,000. And so that was an amazing thing to watch. And they both have a ton of knowledge, having come from different backgrounds, but ended up in the same place as top selling career producers who utilize the internet platforms such as Beatstars and other advertising platforms as well to make their career a reality. Before we start, Tattoo, shout out your social media.
At Tattoo Beats everywhere, anywhere.
And then Wishmaster. Oh, my bad.
Oh, no problem, man.
TANTU Beats everywhere, easy. Wishmaster, what's your social media?
Mine's Wishmaster Beats with a Y, not an I, and that's everywhere too. That's Wishmaster Beats with a Y.
So what are you because I alluded to you being this big time producer. What are some of the big records that people might be familiar with?
A lot of people know "I'm on a Boat" by Lonely Island, T-Pain. I've done a couple of Nelly record, Rick Ross, a lot of Tech 9 records. The Strange Music alone, I've probably done over 50, 60 records. I just did this year alone. I just worked with, I don't know if you guys heard Jerry Robinson. He's their new artist. He's the new artist with Strange Music. He's amazing. And then JL from Strange Music, I just did his EP, and then Stevie Stone. So, and then I'm trying to think, Twister, E40, Pitbull, Yo Gotti.
So
sometimes I forget.
Nice.
Let's get right into it then. What's the secret to selling beats and getting rich? But let's be honest. Okay, so it's Blood Ritual, it's Illuminati, it has something to do with 5G and COVID-19. What's the secret?
You go 5G, then. That's gonna be the
No, okay, so that's
I would
it's
say
a
like
question
the
that
first
people
word.
ask a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll just go off this marketing. Branding yourself is huge. I can tell you the mistakes I made because, so I'm one of the originators of selling beats online. So I paved the way for a lot of people, and people probably don't know that. But back in the day, we used to put it on a website, and if it got to the top of the charts, you'd automatically just start selling beats. All right, and there was no Beatstars, so you had to send your own contract, you had to send the track outs. It was a pain in the ass, but there wasn't as much competition as there is now. And then when I came back a little bit over, just under 3 years ago, I jumped in right on the Facebook marketing. I did the whole, what is that called? You did a bunch of different beats, the carousel. I tried all that, and then I basically was probably in the beginning losing about a couple thousand, maybe 3,000 a month, because I didn't know what I was doing. And that's what I want to bring to the point. It's like once I started learning marketing and actually how to get to the right audience is when my beat sales started just taking off. So,
Word, man. And yeah, I think like for me, it's just been a very consistent ride where like I've been selling beats for 9 years now, I think, and it's just been because I've been doing it for so long. Like I started maybe with like a group of 20 people who would buy consistently from me, and like throughout the years I tried to increase that audience, while never disappearing, like never skipping a week of not at least uploading one beat, that's been the key for me, like just creating longevity out of
because you're being consistent, then your search engine optimization just is always there because your name is always, every time you release, it's just everywhere. So yeah, definitely.
So I mean, there are a lot of people who do think that there's some kind of silver bullet or some kind of shortcut to selling beats, and I think now more than ever we're seeing that producers are talking about beat selling and talking about monetizing and talking about marketing. So I think a lot of producers, and tell me if you've seen this or if you disagree with this, I think a lot of producers put tons of pressure on themselves to make money right away.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree with that, because you think, oh, my beats are hot, so I'm just automatically going to sell, and it doesn't work that way because people don't know who you are yet, and that's why you have to get your name out there and not think you're going to make thousands of dollars right up front. Like that's something you got to build up, Yeah. And there's a lot of techniques and shortcuts to get to different ways, and even Beatstars offers, that you can utilize. But I mean, I get this from a lot of producers. Why are you giving away free beats? What's wrong with you? You're killing our community, and that's a huge marketing technique,
Yeah.
So.
Definitely.
So just to put it into perspective, how long did it take you from starting to make beats? How long did it take you to actually make a career out of that?
Which one of us? You want to go first, man? I keep talking.
Yeah, man. For me, I started in 2009. I started making beats. I started uploading them to YouTube. I think in 2011 I started making my first money, and then in 2012 I quit my last job. So it took about a good 3 years to at least like be able to quit a day job, and then it took like probably 2 more years to really like create enough revenue to like live comfortably and save money as well on the side and be able to do wild things.
Yeah, and I'd say for me, it was probably about the same, about 3-4 years, where I didn't, I just made it my full-time career. And my path was a little different. I came from the online beat selling, and then I worked in the industry, and then I left the online game. And then when I saw how huge it still was, that's when I came back to it. It's actually a lot better now than it was. And a lot of, some people ask me like, oh, it's so much easier back. I said, no, it's so much easier now.
What year did you start?
It's probably 2001.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I'm OG.
You were we talked about this. Were you on mp3.com?
Yes. I was on mp3.com where they used to pay people for your streams. So when people actually click and get all the, you get paid for your plays back then, which was awesome. Yeah, that was my
mp3.com was ahead of its time.
It was.
Anyway,
Never heard of
so
it.
it takes some time. A lot of producers who are frustrated that they haven't made their first sale yet, they haven't made their first $1,000, what kind of words of encouragement can you give to those producers who are in that space where they're just frustrated, they're focusing on their failures rather than their future?
Well, my first thing I would tell these people is like, first of all, like, don't focus too much on the money. Like, to start with, try to have fun creating your audience. Try to have fun reaching your audience. Try to have fun creating a coherent sound, creating your own sound, and building your brand around it. Because it's a super fun process, man. To figure out your visual identity, to figure out your actual sound. That's a whole fun process on its own. So, even if it takes 3 years to have your first sale, or if it takes however long, some people blow up in half a year, some people blow up in 5 years, you know, you never know. But just have fun, and people will see that you are having fun, and when they see that, they want to be part of that fun, right? And they want to tap into that, invest in that, and like pay you for having fun.
And then we get paid for having fun. So, hey, it's a win-win situation. And I would say kind of same thing. It's like, don't just give up because you're not, don't focus on the money. Like, be consistent like he did. Like, you know, just start dropping beats, and the more you drop, the more, you know, and then start, you know, building relationships with people. That's probably brought my beat game to the highest it's been, because I'm actually building relationships through emails. Just alone, here's a gem. You have an option to let people download your beats for free on Beatstars. All right, you can keep the tag on there, but by that you can capture their email, right? So by getting their email, now you can take them through, you know, like a MailChimp or whatever. MailChimp's free, and now you can build that relationship with them. Tell them about yourself, you know, let them into your world, and then say, you know, hey, I also got, you know, what type of beats do you like? You know, hey, you know, just for having a conversation with me, here's 20% off or whatever. Yeah. You know, there's all kinds of free techniques to actually get out there and get your beats, you know, start selling, you know. But I wouldn't focus on that at first and just say, oh, I need to make money at this. Just do it out of the love of music and let it build upon itself.
So you both mentioned quitting jobs and selling beats. The idea of quitting a job to pursue music scares the hell out of people. And rightfully so. It's a scary thing to do. All of you have done this. I've done it. What kind of plan did you have in place to make that transition less scary?
Well, I was kind of young. I think when I quit my job, I was 19. I was pretty fresh out of high school. And I was still living with my parents. So I think for me, the situation was kind of different. Of course, like, I moved out like 2 or 3 years later, but so there wasn't as much pressure. And at the moment I was able to leave my parents' house, I had like I was earning more money than my parents. And then I got my own place. So I don't feel like I had like the tough situation like some other guys, because I can imagine that if you still have a day job, and especially if you have a family, man, that must be a very tough decision. But what I keep noticing every time is that the moment you start doing something full time, you just put all your energy towards that, even if you're not making a living off of it yet. Like, you're kind of pushing the universe or pushing society maybe into a certain momentum where you are actually putting so much energy into your craft and into the thing you want to accomplish, that shit's actually going to happen.
Cool. And I'd say, so I, you know, if you have a day job right now, use that as a way to pay for what you want to do. So I did security, which was horrible. But I had a computer, so I basically used that time to find mp3.com and find these different resources. And then as soon as I started getting paychecks, I would, instead of going and buy my needs, I'd buy my wants. I'd buy what I need, and what I need is more sounds and more equipment. And I put my money towards all that, and until I got to the point where I was making solid money. And I'd say, you know, wait till you're making money for, you know, consistently. Like, if you make a great amount of money in 1 month, don't just go quit your job. Wait till month 2, wait till month 3, you know what I mean? see if it's consistent, and then you have to just tell yourself, like, you know, I need to do this. And think about if you didn't have to work those 8 hours or 9 hours, how much time you can actually focus on yourself and your craft, and how much more you can make that next month. You know what I mean? So I quit at 24 is when I was like, I'm just gonna do this full time.
And do both of you think it was a necessary step to take in your careers?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, definitely to reach a certain height in your career. Like you can only come so far if you still have your mind invested in other things.
Right.
So to follow up on that, obviously being at a traditional job, a day job, 9 to 5, whatever we're calling it, that involves habit. You have to wake up every day at a certain time. You have to show up whether you like it or not. You collect a paycheck, you do your work. It's a habit. What kinds of habits did you have to form on your day-to-day life once you quit the job and you didn't have someone telling you what to do? It was all self-directed. What habits did you form to make yourself a success?
I kept on those same habits. You know, a 9 to 5 is my, you know, well, I work harder now than I did at my 9 to 5, because now I wake up, I tell myself, all right, let's read all my emails from my customers or anybody that has any problems. And then, you know, by 12 o'clock, now it's time to, you know, go make some beats. So I have some beats to release. And I mean, I'm more organized I am now than I was when I had a 9 to 5, because I'm more passionate about what I'm doing. When you're passionate about your job, it's not a job anymore. So you want to put more effort, you want to put more time into it. You know what I mean? So I'd say if anything, it increased my habits.
For me, it's hard to tell because it's been such a long time, and I was so young that I wasn't having that much of a routine yet. But yeah, like you said, if you love what you do, like it's not too hard to get up early to do it.
Well, what are some of your habits now that you're doing this full time? I mean, how are your days structured?
Right now, I personally get up quite late. Like I get up at like 11 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m. And man, I make sure that I eat, that I get outside for some reason. Maybe I go around skateboarding for like 10 minutes or whatever, or walk around the block. And then I start doing all the things which I like least, which I still kind of like, with like checking my email, like designing marketing campaigns, doing email lists, replying to all my DMs and stuff like that. And throughout the day, like after a couple hours of doing like I call it like the dry work, I start getting more into the actual creative side of my work, which is creating the music. So yeah, I try to get out of the I try to get the necessities out of the way, and then use that empty space to create, I guess.
Wish?
Yeah, same thing. I wake up and I read my emails. I go through everything that customers based things, and then after that I start making beats. I start getting prepared for the week, and then after that I might work on some marketing stuff. I'll go through my ads and kind of see what's been going on, and I guess just like any other job you do, since I have passion for it, I love doing it. It's fun. Like even marketing, I would have thought is as fun as it is. I almost like marketing just as much as I like making beats, which is crazy.
I'm glad you said that, because we're going to talk about that a lot.
Yeah. I love designing as well, man. Actually, like Photoshop and stuff, man. It's like making a beat, pretty much.
I noticed that about you, Tantu. Like your visual branding has really taken shape, especially over the last, I would say, 2 years, and that's all self-taught. How did you get to that point?
So I have a couple friends who are very good designers, and like through having conversations with them, I found like certain art styles which I really like. I'm really into collage art, for instance, and I found easy ways to create like workflows for myself within Photoshop, for instance, and Adobe Premiere Pro, to be able to create that kind of art myself. Because I just have a lot of fun doing it, and it gives me the freedom to really cater my images towards a title of a beat, or the vibe of a beat, or the type of beat, of course.
So, Wishmaster, what kind of security were you doing before you went full time making beats?
It was like a computer college. I was just making sure people didn't steal computers, which I mean, it's kind of impossible. But and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I didn't focus on it. I was focused more on my, trying to get out there as a producer. And so
I wasn't sure, because when you said security, I was like picturing you as Nelly's bodyguard or something, just picking people up and body slamming.
Funny story though. When I first met Nelly, he had already had like bunches of my beats. And the first time I met him in person, I walked over and I said, "Hey man, here's some more beats I made for you. I appreciate working with you and everything." And he looked at me real funny. I'm like, "All right." He goes, "You're Wish?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Man, you look like a security guard or something, man." Like, what? I just started like joking around. But it's funny that you said that.
So,
yeah, that was my first experience with it.
Let's talk about another concern. I hear this all the time. The producer game is too saturated. The online beat selling marketplace is too saturated. How does this whole saturation concept sit with you?
Are hamburgers oversaturated in the world? Is everybody selling hamburgers? Yeah, but when you brand yourself and you stick out from the crowd is how you can actually succeed at your business. I hear that all the time, and it's all right. Put this. I've climbed so far in under 3 years from pushing super hard, and I felt like that when I first came back. I'm like, man, there's way more producers out there right now. Like, how do I get through all this crap? And I keep saying marketing, and I learned about marketing and how to stick out, and that's what worked. And it doesn't matter how oversaturated. There's enough artists out there and enough money for us all to eat. Yeah. I don't believe that at all.
Agree.
I never have.
All right. So another concern within the producer community, and this is something I guess specifically that Tantu I think can speak on, is that YouTube as a platform is becoming harder to break into because of the algorithm changes. And I've looked at a lot of successful producers' channels who have hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and you can compare their stats. You can just spy on their stats to see how they were doing a year prior, and the numbers are down for whatever reason. They're down. Obviously, a big lesson to take away from that is we can't really. I mean, YouTube isn't Beatstars. You know what I mean? YouTube isn't made for producers. So at any moment they can change on us, and then that forces us to change some things as well about our own strategy. But they are only one platform. So rather than just focus on how bad one platform has gotten for certain people, I want to ask both of you, which other platforms, or how many different platforms do you focus on to contribute to the income that you make as producers?
So I'll say I would personally tell anybody that if you have the time and anything that's free, I would release everything on all those platforms, because this is something Mike Trampy came to one of our Beatstars events in Nashville, and he said, man, if you released a beat a day for, I think he said 30 days or something, you search it and put it on these different platforms, your search engine optimization is going to go up. I'm like, man, I don't know if I can do that. I did it, and I did it for 150 days, and I'm not going to lie to you, like, that really boosted my views and my traffic to my website. And I would say any producer, use as many as you can. My main ones right now is YouTube, social media. I always, if I post something, I just put it on there. I do, which would be Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And then I do Audio Mac. Audio Mac is awesome. And then SoundCloud. Those would be my main ones.
So I do YouTube, SoundCloud, of course. Every 4 beats I release, I do like a free beat giveaway on Instagram. I'm giving away 3 free licenses where I let people like choose from 4 different beats, like which one they like most, and they have to comment that. So that's how I use Instagram. And what I do, since I'm not able to make a beat a day, it's just creatively. It just doesn't really work for me because I spend quite some time on a beat. So what I do, I try to be a bit more creative with my, like the ways I try to find artists for my beats, or like places where they can find my beats. So I will go and search for different kind of apps. Okay, so this is like a major gem I'm gonna drop right now. There are apps out there, like there are a lot of apps out there which are focused on vocal recording raps, like just recording on your phone. There's like probably like 10 apps out there which are all pretty big. And they all offer a way to put your beats on there. I know Pain is on a couple of these apps as well. That shit's actually, I feel like that is like the 2021 way to get your beats out there. To get it straight directly to the people who are at least interested in recording their vocal. So you have to imagine, you as a producer, you can submit your beats to that app, and then they get into a big catalog of beats where people who are using the app to record their songs to, they're able to choose from these beats, and then they record a song, and then they're like, oh shit, this is actually dope, but I want to record it in like with a real microphone, not just with my phone, and then they get the actual license.
I got a question for you guys real quick. Because I haven't jumped into that yet, do you use it with a tag on the beat, or you just give them the untagged beats on there?
I do with a tag, but my tag is pretty light, so I don't have the buy your tracks today kind of tag. I have like a customized tag, which is also in key with the beat and stuff, so it's not as intrusive.
Well, you Payne, do you use a tag on yours or no?
I'm kind of trying both options out, but I think I've been thinking about going towards the Tansu option, which is just making it's a pain in the ass, but making specific versions for these platforms where I'm not disrupting the recording process, but the tag is just there to remind people who produced the beat in case they did want to purchase it later.
Cool.
So next question. So Beatstars itself is a platform. It's not just a store. It's not just a marketplace. It's actually a platform with a search engine, with its own built-in advertising platform, and with a whole bunch of integrations. And it seems like they're adding a new one every month. But what marketing strategies or marketing integrations do you use specifically on your Beatstars pages?
Do you also mean like the Facebook Pixel thing?
Facebook Pixel. I know, Wish, you talked about the MailChimp integration. That's a big one.
Oh yeah, I use that as well.
Yeah, so I use email integration. I don't actually connect it though, because you have customers and you have free beat downloaders. But what I do is I dump them in separately into my list, which, I mean, in the beginning, you guys can dump all of them right into there, because if you integrate it, it's just going to automatically put it to your list. That is the biggest gem, because like I said, you can let people download your beats for free with a tag on it, and they can try it out. You know, if they make a banger to it, they're going to want to come back and release it. And that in itself helps, but also now you have them in your email, and you could set up some automation where they're getting an email from you every couple of days and saying, hey, this is, telling your story, and maybe throw them a discount or whatever you want to do. But that's huge.
I saw, I think that's like a pretty new update. The emails coming in from Beatstars to MailChimp, they're categorized now, man. So you can actually see whether someone did a free download or did a purchase. So it adds like a tag within MailChimp, so you can sort the...
I don't use MailChimp anymore, that's why. But that's
okay, there you go. All right.
Yeah, that's dope though.
that's awesome, man. Holy shit.
Yeah, no, that's a really helpful feature. So yesterday during the live stream here on the summit with Dame, there was a producer asking why people weren't buying his beats even though he was releasing them pretty often. And Mike Trampy from Beatstars replied by saying, and this is his quote, "It's hard to sell beats to random people. Build value, warm them up, and convert them into fans first." How did you warm people up and convert them into becoming customers?
I feel like I've really been trying to, especially like the past couple of years, I've really been trying to let people connect with my creativity, with my creative vision on like how to create music, like try to use different like weird recordings and I film that and like make a beat out of that, and like people to get people interested in my music, like, oh whoa, he creates music in a weird kind of way or with these kind of sounds which is original, and then they're messing with that, and then they're like, oh damn, I actually like the sound of the end result as well. So since it was made in an original way, they are sometimes more willing to purchase it. Depends on what kind of customers you're going for, but I'm trying to go for the customers who are like really enjoying and appreciating the creative process behind beats in general.
And I take the approach of, like I said, I do a lot of social media stuff where I talk about myself, or I do giveaways too. I'm doing one right now. It's MikeGiveaway.com. I have to plug that. But I'm picking an artist that's gonna, I'm doing this with Big Shot Beats, and we're giving away a microphone and a beat package right now that's just to someone random that we pick at the end of the month, and that's gonna help bring in people. And then I, through this, I tell them my story, and I'm an open book, so like I'll even tell them embarrassing things I've been through in my music career, because a lot of people don't want to ask those questions, and they get embarrassed or they think they're doing the wrong stuff. And it's like, no, I've made every mistake you can think of. So there's nothing you can't tell me that I'm like, well, that's, whatever. But that's part of the warming up process, is actually talking to your customers and not just trying to sell them. You're not going to win by selling everything. You can't just say, 20% off this month, and you have, 20 people following you and you think you're going to get sales. Like, you need to build up everything by giving value. Give value and then ask. All right, give them something for free. Tell them how to.
Giveaways are huge, man.
Yeah.
Like that really, because like I said, I use Instagram every 4 beats I release. I use Instagram to do like giveaway. So I let people like comment their favorite beat, and then I give away 3 free licenses. But people have been kind of invested in like choosing their favorite. So after I do the giveaway, people are still gonna buy the license of their favorite beat, which they tried to get for free, but unfortunately they didn't. But like I did warm them up, like, oh, they got invested in the fact that they might get it for free.
Right.
And then they're like, oh, but I really want it, so I might just buy it.
And that's a good point. Is like, he's giving away beats. You don't have to give away something that you have to buy. Beats don't cost us anything to make. They just take time. And you gotta stop treating your beats like they're babies. You know what I mean? Create them, release them, let them go to the world.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? And like I said, just you can give anything away. Give value of some mixing techniques. What do artists want? What do artists need? Help them with that.
So you briefly mentioned that you've made every mistake in the book. What would you say are some of your biggest mistakes that you've made and learned from when jumping back into the online beat selling marketplace?
I threw about $2,000 on the first month of YouTube ads, and I didn't set up any audience. I didn't set up any age. I didn't set up any city any state, any country. So I basically went worldwide, did my beat ad, and didn't know anything about keywords or anything like that. And I thought I was killing it. I'm like, man, I'm like, my video's blowing up right now. I got probably like 3 sales, and they probably were random. And then I forgot who I was talking to. Like, dude, you just like play that. I mean, every grandma in the world and every country is probably checking it. So that has no intent to buy your beat. They might just like your visual. And that's when I was like, oh my gosh, man, I need to learn this stuff. And I did the same thing with Facebook. I just started running ads randomly, didn't set up audiences and everything. Those are 2 huge mistakes. It's throwing money away. And it was funny is I sold more beats by doing free things like the social media stuff where I'm promoting, other things or giving value. So.
All right, your turn to embarrass yourself.
My turn. A good question, man.
I've never done anything wrong.
To be honest, I haven't taken that like crazy risks. Like I haven't put like 2,000 in one campaign ever, actually, man.
Well, that's obviously your mistake.
That might be my mistake, but I have to find out in the future.
So let's go back to that then, because that was. I don't think that's a mistake that no one's made.
Oh.
A ton of people jump into the paid advertising world and think hire investment, higher returns. They might have even if it's a smaller budget, like $500, they might spend $500 on one ad. They run through that in a week or two, don't get sales, wonder why. What is the most important way to start approaching paid advertising platforms such as Facebook Business Manager or Google AdWords?
I'd say you first of all, you need to understand it, how it works. And even if you can't afford to buy a class or a course, go to YouTube and find those top ones and go through them. You're going to find a lot of crap, but you will find some value of people teaching you how to actually do this. Because I mean, the one thing I wasn't doing in the beginning is retargeting. And retargeting is so important because you have to understand most people that are going to visit your beat site are not going there to buy. They're just clicking around, might hear a few beats, and they might even think about it. Hey, I want to buy this later, but the second they leave, they forgot about you, right? So Facebook, you can go and retarget those people for as little as like $3 a day. I don't know if you can even go lower than that. But if you're not getting that much traffic, it's not going to cost you that much. But you can literally just throw them an ad as soon as they left your website saying, hey, come back and get those beats you wanted. Here's 10, 15% off. That to me, that has totally changed my business around.
Yeah.
Is retargeting. So.
That's amazing.
Yeah, learn.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. So retargeting and remarketing, that's essential to your beat selling strategy. What are some of your other techniques for retargeting? Either customers that have already bought a beat in the past, or customers who haven't bought a beat yet but are clearly checking your beats out. Number one, how are you even figuring out who these people are? And then number two, how are you directing ads towards them?
That's a great question. All right, so first of all, we just talked about in the beginning about the people that download your beats, right? So you can have a separate list where you can take them through your email process and maybe, in the beginning, give them something of value. Like, hey, this is something that I wrote to help artists going through, struggles. Give them a free ebook or something or whatever or an article. And then a few more emails, and you can say, hey, why don't you come back to my set? I know you did something to that free beat. Did you make a banger? Can I hear it? Like show me what you're doing. And, if you'd like to come back and purchase it, here's a percentage off. That's how I might approach that with a customer. Now I'm going to put you in a different list, and now I'm going to, start building way more value with you and give you, a lot of information about how you can help your career. And then now I'm going to give you a discount for life. That's why all my customers get a discount for life, because I'm like, you invested in me, I'm invested in you. So, and it gets a little bit more than that, because my emails go probably for 40 to 60 days, but it's just, like I said, I give a lot of value to people. I do giveaways, I do contests, just fun stuff to keep people engaged. Yeah. And then ask them to follow your social media. Let's stay connected. That's how you stay connected with people. That's how you build customers. That's how you build friends and artists. Yeah.
Yeah, one very small thing I do, which I really notice makes a big difference. And it's kind of time consuming, but it works a lot. Is just every sale I make, I just have an automatic, standard email I send to that email of the person who buys the beat immediately. Yo, thanks for supporting me. Here's a discount code, and please send me the track whenever you finished your song. It really keeps them engaged with you as a producer, where at some point they feel like you're their main producer, right? So they're like, oh shit, this guy's actually listening to the songs I'm making on his beat. I'm gonna come back and get more.
And if they send you the music, then listen to it and give them your honest criticism. I don't BS around. If I'm not feeling something, hey man, let me try this. Now I'm not gonna be rude and say this is just whack. You know what I mean? You don't do that.
Oh, don't be rude now.
Yeah, you don't do that as a producer in a session to an artist. So why would you gonna do it to a customer? So you just say, hey man, maybe try this, or just give them your honest opinion without being rude.
Yeah, they're gonna be happy that you give them feedback, because they're mostly whenever they send me their tracks, 9 out of 10 times they're actually asking for feedback as well. They're like, what do you think?
Because you're invested in just as much as they are.
Yeah.
We have some questions coming in, and they're pretty good questions. Let me jump on this question because it's a current conversation that's happening in the Twitch chat about building a catalog. I think building a catalog is absolutely important. How many beats do the two of you have in your catalogs, would you say?
I think I have a little bit under 400, and it's because I did that 150-day thing where I was just, that was crazy. But I think about 3 something.
Yeah, I have 300, 350, something like that.
Dang.
And you know what? And if you ask me how important it is, I think in the beginning, you know, you should have maybe a variety for people to pick from, but I don't think you have to have a huge catalog to make money at something. If anything, every beat that I put up when I started, people aren't going through anymore because no one's going to go through 300 and something beats, right? And I have some like bangers in there, you know what I'm saying? So what I do is I discount those old ones, even though they're still great. But since I know people might not go through those beats, I just do them as a discount. So I don't know, that's something you can try with too.
Yeah, I'm actually sometimes still selling beats I made in 2012, man. I think last month I sold like $150 license from a 2011 beat. And that person probably still found it on YouTube or something. Like, I don't think he scrolled all the way down, but because you're uploading all your beats on all these platforms, there's always like this tiny percentage of chance that the algorithm picks it up, or someone picks it up and shares it with friends, and that kind of creates a snowball effect. So I do really personally believe in the power of quantity, where like your catalog is super important, and having a well-sized catalog definitely helps. But like you said, it's not a necessity. If you have like a good 40 beats and like they're coherent, and like people are still probably might buy like 8 beats to create a whole EP out of just your beats, you know? So
yeah, I'd say focus on quality and then get to quantity. Like build them up and make sure every beat is quality, that you know, like that's your best work, because that's how you're gonna build your fan base. And people are like, man, I love this person's beats.
Yeah.